So we've got an example. Look, they're looking at it now. May 2013. So this is the paper that I said we would be looking at today, right? May 2013. Apparently you won't ever get, no, that was May 2015, sorry. May 2013, there are 2 questions. Lovely questions. I thought they were lovely questions back in the day. I'm not too sure what you thought about them. Now, you need to do the brochures. We haven't actually been doing brochures for a long time in workshops, and I would like you to do that, get round them. So you remember the exam. Question, medical aid, one about the brochure, and the other one is Ms. Mabina. Now here is another example of how you need to be positive in your delivery. Who wrote that exam? Anybody? Okay, great. So this is a good learning curve. Right. So this is what this is an attempt. What do you think? Yes. Shamiso says the date's in the wrong place. Mrs. A. Mabena, and then Dear Madam. So in the English convention, which is I'm sorry about that, it is English, but you would not go Dear Madam because then that's alienating the person, right? So you see from that logic. I don't mind the title, the subject line, do you? Not too bad. Best way to finance the cost of your holiday home. I quite like that, but it's sort of less formal than the Dear Madam. Hey, because Dear Madam sounds quite formal. I don't like this as a communication marker because you were given a date. And the client address, if you do this, it means that you're not immersing yourself in the situation. More likely, you're not going to respond like you're in the situation. Something's going to give somewhere. If you want to, like I said before, if you want to swim, you must get wet, right? Otherwise, you're standing on the side of the pool. And this is standing on the side of the pool. This one is okay because that is a whole lot of stuff. But just have an address, please, that you always use. Just as 4 lines. But the acted notes, a question from Tafara.
The top line is okay, as it is.
Mrs. A. Mabena.
One of the company letter.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, is letterhead one?
Oh, letterhead. Yes, letterhead. Well, wow, Tafara. Isn't that great? It's a letterhead. Fantastic. It's one word. You're right.
Okay.
Good. Well spotted. It's the letterhead.
Yes.
Yeah. I love that. But it's incorrect, of course. Okay, what else? So what the acted notes say is that you can go client address 1, line 1, address line 2, address line 3. Don't do that, okay? Just get over yourself and have a nice address that you can haul out. One for a mum, one for a client who's lower socioeconomic, one for a client who's higher socioeconomic. Finish, okay? And the date, please, this means something. So if it's Mrs. A. Mabena, how would you have said dear? Just dear Mrs. Mabena, not Mrs. A. Mabena there. Right? So the convention, you drop the first, that initial. So I'm speaking to the converted here. You all do that. That's great. Let's see what comes after that. Have a look at that. Okay. Anybody want to offer some comments on that? Alice? Yes?
So for me, the first was actually saying introduction. We don't necessarily have to say introduction.
Agreed. We don't need that.
Yeah. And then also dated, and also
dated and no date. And I feel sure that it would have been in the paper. I think you must recreate a date. Why would it be necessary to create a date? Anyone? Resecho?
Because you're paying reference to what she had inquired about or asked you guys about, so you can easily so she can easily identify what exactly it was and when it happened.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, Rezecha. We can get the mic back to Alice. There's another reason as well. Those were good reasons. The other reason is that date and that date. Now we don't know where we are. And also we don't know what the turnaround time is here. Is this service delivery good? And then, of course, we know that the document is as good as its date. We need to have a date. Anything else in there, Alice? Something positive, something you think that works?
So stating that you've actually gone through the finances and that you're going to give help on options that the client can consider.
Nice. That is. Sometimes you have to give back exactly what they say you've got. Okay. And that's one of them, after going through your finances. Because that's me, and there's something very special in this question as well, because this lady would like to know what her take-home would be, what she'd be left with. I have established that there are 2 options available to you. That's great. Don't feel that because it's exactly what the note said you should say, that you're saying it. Okay? You need to state the obvious because Mrs. Mabena has not seen the notes. And this must be a standalone history, a historical account of this situation. Okay. So you took that from the notes because the note said you have established. So translate that into the purpose of the letter. Do you see now how you can use your notes? And then this, how about the last one?
So it creates expectations of what the letter will entail.
Exactly. It's the signposting. Some candidates, yes, Tsepo?
Yes, I was just going to say I like the way she started the letter with the thank you for your letter. So I like that.
Yes. Yes. I always like the thank you. Unless it's a very, very tricky one where the person is actually hugely in the wrong and they've been rude and all sorts of things, then you will still say thank you for bringing this to our attention. Okay. You don't have to go overboard, but just acknowledging that is good. And the tendency is to just dive in and forget about that. Also forget about the client because you've got the answer. You know what you're going to write, and you want to write it first. But this is the decorum. This is the, this is every space has its way. So when you go to a restaurant, you don't expect the waitress just to dump your food and then not look at you when they do it, for example. So in letter writing, this is what happens. Tucker?
I think it's good that the introduction is aligned to the subject heading as well.
Yes. So there is alignment there. Yes. Well done.
For me to say, so if I was Mrs. Mabena, I would have liked if she said, I've established that there are 2 options available to you, and then parentheses, just quickly state them, and then this letter will help explain. Because sometimes when you're reading letters, you just want to have an idea of what's going to come, even though you don't know what option A actually means in technical terms. But then you can say, I will explain this in the rest of the letter, but just to have them already in the introduction. Or is that too early?
I would say go one better, and I was going to state this. This letter will help. I've established that there are 2 options available to you. And I would have stated them already. I wouldn't have called them option A and option B. That keeps us in the general zone, generic zone. I would have called them either take out a loan or use your pension, right? And I would have used the right terminology there, okay? Then I would say this letter will help to explain these options and provide recommendations. So that is what I would have done. It would be the optimal introductory paragraph, all right? But on its own, it is pointing the way, but the options would have pointed the way in an evaluation.
So, in my case, the sentence that says, I've established that there are 2 options available to you. If I shorten it and just say, I've established 2 options, no, and remove that they are. Just so I've established two options available. And just to make it like, because now, if yes, because if you've got lots to say and then the word count you are just increasing and you are trying to shorten, do you lose marks to, try to shorten yours?
I think you go back when you have written the full letter and you take that out if you need words. But what is wonderful is that here, Mrs. Mabena has been with the company, has been with this group, looking after them for some time. So you want this relationship, and it's linked to your tone, to have the you. So you would have taken the you out, you see, for you, to you, two options available to you. Okay, so I think that is, and they're your. These things, those personal pronouns make a huge difference for the tone. So just to say that there are two options available, this and that, means that those options might be available to everybody, not you specifically.
So the last sentence where you're saying this letter will help explain the options, and we know it's a letter because it's in a letter format and we're writing to the person. Is it necessary to say this letter will help you explain? Because is it not some form of redundancy in you're getting a letter as a reader, so can you not say maybe I will explain these options. I'll further I'll explain these options below, or something like that.
You could say that, but we really don't mind you reiterating it's a letter or email. You can do that. We would never take a mark off to say that this letter explains that. We wouldn't. It's not. That would not be redundancy. It's not be repetitive. It's okay. It is okay. But if you find a way around it, like you've suggested, that's also perfect. Okay. But you must think of time as well.